Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Rune here, back with another Palworld video, and today I'll be going over the best pals in Palworld, mainly for your party and in your pal box for raids, and tower bosses, mainly for hard mode, as these are just going to be insane, especially since some of these need to be best ones. Now, if you're looking for like the best top for raid bosses, I will have a separate video in a raid boss guide. I currently have one that's with Blazema Ryu and Bella Noir, but I'll have those plus Xenolord in a separate video, which will be in the link in the description when it's ready. Also, if you want to min-max the damage, I don't really go into that here, but I'll have a separate video min-maxing it. I also have an outdated video on that, which will be in the description, and the updated one in the description as well. So if there is some stuff, I may have a separate video, just because some people who are watching this may already know how to maximize the pals. So it's just extra work going to that when it can just be a separate video for people who need to learn it. But I still go over a little bit on damage and attacks, but those will really go min-maxing into the attack. Now, first off, I'm going to go over the passives, which are mainly Demon God, Legend, and Serenity, and then you have the option for Vampiric and Musclehead, as well as, if you just happen to get it, is Ferocious and Impatient. Now, Vampiric is more important if you're using it as like a main pal in raid bosses and hard mode raid bosses, as those enemies have higher health and deal more damage, where if you're going general just attacking pals out in the wild in those mini bosses, then you won't need Vampiric. But this lifesteal is just really helpful and makes it so easy to keep pals alive. Now, because sometimes we're using Vampiric, we don't go for like max damage, so you won't see max raw attack stat. So you may have some pals that have higher, but it's about DPS that is important. There's also other passives like the elemental ones, which can be pretty good, but it is very situational. So first off, for fire, we'll go over, I have Blazema. Blazema's really good because while ridden, it enhances fire attacks, which should be elemental damage, which is its own multiplier separate from attack, and like the PAL boosts and the level tier. It would be additive with passives that increase elemental damage though. But this right here, in my specific case, will just double your damage with the 5-star, or I guess technically 4-star, but level 5 Magma Kaiser. And it also has Brawn Impact, which is just a really good PAL exclusive skill. And then I have Jormuntide Ignis, which also has really high attack and also enhances fire attacks while mounted. It is also just a lot bigger, which is tough to deal with, but it's still there. And it also has the new Magma Serpent skill. And then you also have Flame Ball and Fireball. I don't really go Ignis Rage, as it can kind of be tough to hit enemies with it, and it's a delayed damage, so I don't really like to do it. So specifically on Jormuntide Ignis, I like to have something that will grant Ivy covered, like Seed Mine, as this will double your damage towards pals with fire attacks. Now, because Jormuntide Ignis is technically dragon as well, you could do some dragon attacks. I don't have dragon skill fruits on here, but there's just better pals for it. And then going into that, I guess I'll go into Blazema Ryu, where in a party, or not in a party, in your like pal box attack, it can be good, but without it, it's better as just a dragon type in your party, because it boosts the dragon attacks while mounted, making it a lot better party pal and just having really high damage. Part of that being we have Musclehead instead of Legend, because we cannot get Legend on a Blazema Ryu, as we cannot breed it onto a Blazema Ryu, as Blazema Ryu can only be bred with itself. But we still have Vampiric, Serenity, and Demon God. Here, instead of Vampiric, I would probably go Impatient, I guess, if you aren't using it for high enemies. But yeah, this is like my go-to dragon attack. There is also Xenolore and Jet Dragon, but in my party, I am using this. And what's really good with this guy is it's dragon plus another element, which is fire. So you can use something like a Kelp Seed, which increase the fire attack or the attack power of fire pals. So we have that being boosted, where something like the dragon is only dragon, and we don't have any pal that will boost it. So having Blazing Up Ryu is really good there, and it also just has some really good skills like Comet Strike, Beam Slicer, Magma Crush, and I think there's one other. Blast Cannon is really good, but it still also has all those fire attacks, which are really good. It's just if you're using it in your party, Blazing Up's just going to easily win, where if it's in your base, it's a lot more competitive because it has higher stats. And then we have Xenolore. Xenolore, again, has a second element, which is very important for dragging, so it can be boosted with those attack power of Dark Pals, making it a lot better, but also has some really strong skills. It has a lot of exclusive skills like Omega Laser, Cosmic Meteor, and Beam Slash. It also has this Dark Attack Astral Ray and Satellite Bit. I haven't added the other like just dragon stuff you can use from Pal Fruits, but I will be soon. And the only thing here is I would probably use this more in a raid boss situation versus a party, because it cannot double the attack, but it still does have like some really good attacks here, like Omega Laser. It is a bit weird as you do want to have it like on a flat surface, but it still is really strong, and these attacks are just strong in general to where they are worth considering. And also just in the end of it comes to fun, and this guy is really fun to use. And then the Dragon is really good as a Pal Box Pal for raid bosses, as it just has really high stats and it can get good stuff like Meteor Rain, Dragon Meteor, and what else do we have here? We have Beam Comet and Beam Slicer, all really good. And then here we have Legend, because it is a legend with Demon God Serenity and Vampiric. So this is just really good. But again, because Blazing Ryu has that dragon attack increase while mounted, it's just going to be the better party pal. And then Dark type, we have Frostallion Noct. It increases the attack type of dark attacks while mounted. So it is just a really good pal for that. So we have Frostallion Noct for that, with Vampiric, Demon God, Serenity, and Legend, with stuff like Dark Wisp, Dark Laser, Apocalypse, and there's other stuff. We also have double Blizzard Spike, which is just cool that we get it on Frostallion Noct and Frostallion. So this guy is my go-to if I'm using in a party. But we also have Shadowbeak and Bellunar Libero for its special attacks, making it not always better, but Frostallion Noct is just really good on here. And then Shadowbeak, we have Divine Disaster and Divine Disaster 2, which are the main reasons for using it. We have Nightmare Ball and Dark Laser as well, but because this guy is so good and we have enhanced dark attacks while mounted, it is very competitive with Frostallion Noct, as they both will boost that dark damage, but that Divine Disaster can be really good. Then we have Bellunar Libero, which is really cool because its special thing is, or its partner skill is Nightmare Bloom, which is also a skill, so you can cycle the two of these while having stuff like Flame Waltz, Apocalypse, and Nightmare Ball. But Nightmare Bloom is just really good, so it's just really good attack. So I just really enjoy it as well. We don't have Legend since we can't get it, but we do have Siren of Void, especially since we don't have any way of increasing elemental damage. So it's just really good here. And so it won't show off in the pure attack stat here. And then we have Jormuntide, just the normal Jormuntide, which is really good for the raw stats here. We have Slither Slam, which is a new Jormuntide exclusive skill. We have the Vampiric, Demon God, Serenity Legend, as well as Hydro Laser and Aqua Burst. It's just really good for raw stats. There's nothing competitive for raw damage. I think there's Suzaku Aqua, which I haven't made a new one of right here, which does enhance water attacks while mounted, but it's just so much lower base damage that it's usually not worth it. So we have Jormuntide here. It's just really high damage with really good attacks. And then we have a new pal as well, which is Phalaris Aqua. Also has really high attacks and a new exclusive skill, which is Phoenix Tide. So this is a really good competitor. I still have to go more into Phoenix Tide versus Scissor Slam, but because these guys don't have that water exclusive skill boost or anything that boosts that elemental damage, both of these are just really competitive with each other. And then for ice attacks, we have Frost Stallion. Frost Stallion increases ice attacks while mounted, and it's got double Blizzard Spike, Diamond Rain. It also has Icicle Line and Crystal Wing, all which are really, really good. I'm still messing with all of them. And max attack damage is not always best, as you have the cooldown and the power, making it all situational. But it's all just really good, and this guy is still a monster, especially since you have that here. But something that's competitive, especially in the PAL box, is going to be Bastigor. But also, when you ride him, you get a second attack, which is really nice. So we have this attack hammer, which is just really good if you can aim right. But we also have Frost Talon and Glacial Impact, which are two new Bastigor exclusive skills, as well as just having stuff like Diamond Rain. It also has some really good ground attacks, which are really cool, that I need to mess with more. But this hammer, just having an extra attack, can be really good sometimes. We also have these skills kind of like having Bastigor moving around, which is really good for repositioning, especially when you have like Glacial Impact when he jumps in the air. So if there's like something in his way, he can move it. And then for normal types, we have Saline here, which is dark neutral. And while Renin has neutral and dark type while mounted, but it has really good normal types versus dark type moves. And you can, of course, add dark attacks onto it, but compared to what we have in all these special dark attacks, I can't see it ever being competitive. It wouldn't be bad for dark attacks at all, but it wouldn't be as that good as the other options. But it does enhance those neutral attacks, which is really important for stuff like Moonlight Beam, Holy Burst, and Starmine, as well as Seigetsu Blade. I don't know how to say it. There's just a lot of good skills here for this guy. And we have Musclehead instead of Legend because we can't get on Saline. Or I think you can't. I can't remember if you can now read Saline. But if you can get Legend, I would definitely go for that. I might have a post editor's note on it on screen. Who knows? But that neutral attack just makes it really good. Now we have a competitive for like base attack, which is Celestia, which is really good because of its exclusive skill, Holy Nova. I've also got Pal Blast and Holy Burst, still working with getting other Pal fruits onto this guy. But we got Legend on here, and so it's just still got good attack. It's just not always as good as Saline, especially just having base raw increased attack damage, and then the elemental on here. But Celestia is really good still here. And then for grass, Lateline still seems really undefeated here. If there is a better one, let me know, and I just overlooked it. But Lateline has high attack here. We have Vampiric, which I honestly don't know if we need because of Bountiful Protection, but I still have it. But we also have Solar Blast, Circle Vine, and we also have Spine Cord and Grass Tornado. And Bountiful Protection is just really good for healing. It does have a long cooldown, which is like the problem with it versus like Vampiric, but I'm still keeping Bountiful Protection on here for now. But we still have really good attacks. And then we also have Lateline healing us with its skill, which is just really good, especially if we're accidentally taking a lot of hits, then we can get an easy heal. And then for electric type, Orzhov is still really good, especially with Kirino and Polykirinos. And we still have the other strong attacks, but mainly these two are just extremely good. Then you throw on Soaked, and you've got even more attack. Now, of course, Soak can be used on any pal, which is basically the same for all these guys, but I really like it on Orzhov. And so he's still just an absolute beast here. But we also have Azurmane, as we have these new attacks like Bolt Blade, Thunder Rail, and All Range Thunder. Now, since only Bolt Link is exclusive, I'm wondering if you can get these two on, like, Berserk, which would be interesting to try out. But for now, just for regular non-weird breeding stuff, we have these here. We have Legend, Vampiric, Demon God, and Serenity. But this guy is just really good, and while ridden, you can do another attack with dashing, and also that dash can just be good with moving away from attacks if needed. And then for ground type, we have Anubis, which is just good because it moves fast around, it's smaller, and it also just has some good ground attacks. But I don't know if it's better than Noclum, which is just basically gonna be the top choice in general, but they're both still really good, as we have Ground Smash, Spinning Roundhouse, Forceful Charge, and Noclum, we've got all of his specific stuff like Ground Cutter, Rock Lance, and Sand Twister. But that is it for these pals. If you have any other pals that could be good, let me know. If I missed a bunch, I may make a second video, but these all are extremely good and definitely worth trying out. Make sure to check out my other video on the best pals, which has the non-Feybreak pals, as I may go into more depth in that as well for those non-Feybreak pals, as I don't want to go as much in depth since I have before, but I still want to mention it for people where this is their first video of it all. Make sure to like the video if you found this helpful and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.